Hey everyone, welcome back to Beekeeping with Natalie, or welcome to if you are new. Today's video is going to be a fun one because I don't really know what we're in for today, but we're going to find out. So what I'm going to try to do, at least, I have a plan, but one of the main things to beekeeping that you want to focus on is to never go into a yard with a plan because it's never going to happen. I have experience from that, especially this week. Anywho, we're going to get into this one, and I think another one. I'm hoping the queen on this one has already emerged and we're going to mark her today. The color of the year is green. I always go off for the Bee Expo because the color at the Bee Expo is always whatever that color queen is the year. So if you don't know, basically every year there's a new color. That way you can kind of go back and look at your queens, and if they have like a white dot on it, then you know that that was from, was that 2 years ago or was that last year?
Last year was red.
I think it was a couple years ago. So anyway, this year is green. So we got these, I don't know really how to say it. We've been trying to pronounce this for the last 5 minutes before we filmed the video actually. Turns out I can't say advantage.
That's right.
Is that right? Competitive advantage.
Yes.
If you don't know, I am homeschooled and I just blame it on that. All right, let's hope this smoker didn't go out. And we're just gonna go through and see what they look like. For what?
Depends.
I can try to put the link in the description, but really it's not going to be me because I don't know how to do any of that. We're just keeping it real today. Okay, so I'm not even going to go and give you the whole background to these nukes because it's been an awful month. The season this year so far has been pretty bad. It started off really promising, which should have been a bad side to us immediately. And ever since then, it's kind of just gone downhill. We have really bad takes with queens, and whether that comes to grafting or getting mated, weather hasn't been the greatest. Now it's like really good, and I think it's like 90 or 100 today because it's really hot. So now would be the time to graft and do your splits, and if you're in Missouri here, but today or the last couple weeks that we've been doing queens just really hasn't been. Also, a lot of people have been wondering the days that I film these videos. Today is May 18th, if that kind of helps you a little bit. Sometimes the videos we film don't get posted for another week or so, but let's just start by going through here. So I'm just gonna pull one of these frames out, and then I don't think there should be there might be a few eggs. I'm hoping there is, maybe larvae if we get lucky. I don't think I'm gonna see any brood today, probably just mostly food because these girls have been queenless for a little bit now. And recently, a couple, probably, I don't know, it was a little while ago, I put some mated queens in here that were actually in a cage. So I'm looking to see if she's emerged, and then hopefully I started laying.
Oh, I see her.
You see her? That's the first. I'm joking. Okay, so she actually is pretty bright. There she is. So now I don't have to go through the whole thing, which is really nice. Okay, so let's talk about marking a queen. So you can get what they call, I think, a plunger is what it is, and I actually have a bunch. I just didn't grab one today, but I personally don't love them. It's what we did use in the very beginning because it is easiest for a new beekeeper. It's kind of just smushing the queen up just a little bit to the point where she can't move, and then you mark her. It just makes marking her a little bit harder because sometimes if you don't do it perfectly, then you can end up getting it all over her body. But same thing with these also, if you do it the way I'm going to do it today. What I do is I grab her by the wings, and then I grab her foot to hold her steady. Some people grab her by the head. I used to do that, but now I've just been grabbing her by the leg, and I feel like it works a little bit better. So they don't always love when you shake these pens. I don't know why, but just shake it up, and then I've used this one a couple times, so I think it should be ready to go. But when you first start these pens, the ink just goes everywhere, so you want to watch out for that and make sure you use it on your box or whatever a couple times before you actually put it on the queen, because if you're like my dad and you don't wait, the queen ends up being completely green. Her whole body will be green. So sometimes they'll actually ball the queen and kill her if that happens, if you get it all over her. Other times you get lucky like we did and they didn't actually do anything to her. So anywho, let's mark her. Sometimes if you wait long enough, she'll stick her head down in a cell, which makes it easy to grab her because her wings kind of go up. But I'm just going to grab her So she just stuck her head down in a cell, which makes it a lot easier for me to grab her by the wings. So then I've got her in my hand just by the wings here, and then I'm going to grab her by the foot. Just like this. And then let's just hope that I do a really good dot here. That wasn't too bad. It's not my best, but we'll call that good. Now sometimes I don't like to put her right back into the hive. I like to let her dry just a little bit. It is going to take a minute for that paint to dry, but sometimes you can blow on her a little bit. Just so the paint doesn't go everywhere, because if the bees step on her or something, then it gets all over her body too. So these queens this nuke eventually will be sold here in the next week or so. So I want to make sure that nothing happens to her. So then I just grab her by the wings again and then just set her right back down in there. And she'll go back to laying the eggs, and now she's marked. I always like the green because it's just really easy to see. She actually got some paint on that bee over there, but so that's it. So she's done. She's good to go. We've got about, I don't know how many more. We've got a ton more that we need to do. Now she's on the bottom right now of the frame, so I'm not going to put that in yet until she goes up because I don't want to smush her. But that's it. So I like to just look at her for a couple seconds like you saw here, just to make sure that nothing's happening. I have heard that people will have their queen faint all of a sudden. I don't know what they're doing to their queens because I have never had that happen. If that's happened to you, I would be curious like what your method was in marking the queen. I think it comes down to just being stressed out a little bit and they end up fainting. I don't really know a whole lot on that, but I've never had it happen. Also, we have some apivar strips in here for now, just because since these nukes are going to be sold, I wanted to make sure that the mite levels were as low as they could be before we got them sold. So we just did a quick round of that. Now let me show you what this cage looks like, because I'm going to pull it out. Everybody uses something a little different. These are the ones that are most popular. It's a little dirty because they've got wax all over it now. But basically this is what it looks like. The queen's in here and there's two pieces. So this hole right here is where your candy would go. So eventually they'll slowly eat it out, and that's how they would introduce her. And then there's another piece right here that basically just pulls out. That way you can, if you have to, manually let her out, which I think is what we're gonna have to do on the next one here. So let's check that one, see what it looks like. Now I did see eggs when I was putting her back in there, so she's doing good. She's mated, marked, and now we just have to wait a little while for her to get a good laying pattern, brood in there, and then it'll be off to the next person. So let's just put this back and then walk over here. Now usually I like to give them a couple days with that sugar, and then I'll go in and manually open her up if she hasn't come out yet. I go through and take all those cells out anyways that she was in, because I just don't want those in the hive. So this is what I'm doing today, is just going through all these nukes and making sure that she's already come out of that cell that she's in there, or that she's in. So I'm going to check this one too. I believe I actually saw a little bit of candy in it when I opened it up, so let's see if she's still in there. If she is, it's been about 2 to 3 days, so that's why I'm going ahead and letting her out, because she can come out now. Now, typically what we do, there's the candy, and then I like to just put a little bit of masking tape, I think it is. I like the white stuff. Don't get the blue ones, because they don't tend to go through that one very easily. But the white or tan one, whatever you want to call it, they seem to go through that. Huh?
The cheap kind.
Yeah, it's cheap too. You just get it from Dollar General. Oh, she came out of this one, so I guess we won't have to open that up. I'm really hoping that all of these they've already come out of, because I mean they definitely should have, and they usually start on that sugar as soon as possible. But you can see there's a little bit of that masking tape on top of there. It just kind of slows them down a little bit more with that sugar, because they'll plow through that really fast. Now with the masking tape, I do poke just a tiny little hole in it just to get them started, so they know that she can come out. So let's see if I can find the queen again. I didn't even find the queen on the last one, actually. But let's see if we can find her and mark her again. Oh, there's no hive there. let's see where I want to put this. All right, I'm gonna see if there's any eggs first. It might be just a bit early. Now, if you're doing this with virgins and they just got back and mated, okay, so I see eggs down in here, which is good. That means that she's laying. You want to be aware too is to make sure that's not a laying worker. Now with the laying worker, typically what that's going to look like is the cells are going to have, they can have up to like 4 or 5 eggs in it, and a new queen could lay up to maybe a couple eggs in one cell, but it's usually not nearly as bad as what a laying worker would look like. But if you're doing with this with virgins, I would recommend waiting a few days after they start laying to mark her, because sometimes it's just a little too early. So she's on the bottom bar of this frame. So I'm going to wait for her to go up and then do the exact same thing I just did. I want to be careful. Hold on. Probably what's going to happen now that I decided to check another one is we're going to kill her or something. She'll probably fall off the frame. Now, if they start to get a little flighty on you, they start to kind of fly away, put it back. Don't keep going and trying to mark her, or else she'll end up flying off of the frame and then you'll lose your queen unless you get lucky and she comes back. So you can see I just have her sitting right here, and then just gonna give her a quick mark. Oh, that's a good one. All right. So it's really quick and easy. I think this way is a lot faster. One of the things you can do is mark a drone. If you don't want to start off by marking a queen right away, then you can find a drone and do that. Because, I mean, a drone's not going to sting you. Now these girls in here will, so make sure you smash that drone before you put it back in the hive, or else you're going to find a green dot and think it's queen, but really it's not. All right. She looks good. They both have a very different color to them, which is interesting, but they're not doing anything to her. She just looks like she's going back to what she was doing, so I'm going to put that right back. Yeah, I'm going to pull this apivar out too. And I think that's it. So that's all we're doing today. Well, we're doing a bunch of little random things. Sometimes some days in the bee yard are just a bunch of little things that you can quickly get done. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to go through and mark as many of these as I can. And I think that's pretty much it. So I would definitely recommend trying to learn to mark a queen this way, because it's a lot faster. And I honestly think it is easier if you can learn how to do it than the plunger, because that one just, I feel like it's more likely that you can kill a queen that way. But anyways, thanks for watching today's video. Follow along more bee adventures and be here next time on Beekeeping with Natalie.